Hello, my name is Nikki Lamb from the Neil Squire Society, and this presentation is on how to read a food label. This presentation will advance by itself. All you need to do is observe and listen. I will read and explain all the information as we go along. So why food labels? What's so important about food labels? Because reading a food label can help us make wise food choices. Most packaged foods in the grocery store list the nutritional information on the package in a section called the nutrition facts. It looks like it's a box, and it looks like a little chart on most food items. The nutrition facts tell you the serving size, the amount of various nutrients such as total fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, sodium, and fiber per serving. These are all really important pieces of information that we need to know what we're putting in our body. The list of ingredients will be on the food label, and it shows the ingredients in descending order by weight. So what that means is the heaviest ingredient in the food is going to be listed first, and the smallest or lightest ingredient in that food will be listed last. So, for example, a loaf of bread, likely flour is the heaviest and the biggest or the largest amount of ingredient in that food, so it would be listed first on the ingredients. Foods that are exempt from the labeling include foods that are in very small packages, foods prepared in the store, and some foods that are made by small manufacturers are exempt from labeling. Most food products must, by law, include the following information, though, as I just shared, some food products may be exempt from one or more of the conditions, but most should have the following. They should have the product name. So what is it that this product is? The ingredients list, again, from the highest weight of ingredients down to the lowest weight of ingredient in that food. The shelf life, when some ingredients or some foods don't have a shelf life, but most have a shelf life. I use best by or before date. Specific storage instructions. For example, some will say refrigerate after opening, or this can only be kept 2 weeks after opening, or something like that. It'll have the name and address of either the manufacturer, the packer, or the EC seller. It should have the country of origin. It should have the weight and the instructions for use, for example, if there's specific cooking instructions or, again, storing instructions. Food manufacturers are not required by law to provide nutritional labeling. However, if they make a claim such as low sugar, high fiber, they must support it with nutritional labeling. So if you see something on there that says low sugar, low fat, high fiber, those sorts of claims, it has to be supported. Many manufacturers, however, do show nutritional labeling, which allows us as consumers to make healthier choices. There's two systems of nutritional labeling that has been agreed on. The first will include details about energy. That's how many calories are in there, how much protein, carbohydrate, fat. And then the second system that's been agreed on will tell you how much sugar, how much saturated fat, trans fat, those sorts of things, how much fiber, and how much sodium is in that item. The information is generally given in 100 gram or 100 ml quantities. So this is now a food label. This is the box I was speaking to that says nutrition facts. Turn the food around. On cans, it's on the side. On cereal boxes, sometimes it's on the small side panel. But you have to turn things around to find this box that says nutrition facts. And now, how do you read this information? First and foremost, really important, is you will find the serving size of the food below the nutrition facts title. So how much of this item is considered to be a serving, and then the rest of the food label is going to speak to one serving size. So don't assume that a bag of chips or a chocolate bar, when you read the side of that, don't assume that they're telling you how many calories are in the whole bag of chips or how many calories are in the whole chocolate bar. Read what they consider a serving size. Sometimes, and I was horrified to find this myself, for a chocolate bar, 1/3 of a chocolate bar is considered a serving size. And so when they're telling you the calories, they're only telling you for 1/3. So you have to kind of do the math to figure out how much that whole chocolate bar, calories the whole chocolate bar has. So look at the serving size. And then you're going to look at how many servings are in the container or the bar or the package that you are holding. So in this particular one, 2.5 servings are in this particular, it happens to be a can of carrots. So there's 2.5 servings in this can of carrots. So 1 cup is considered a serving. So there's 2.5 cups in this can. And then the next is calories per serving. So remember, if the serving size is 1 cup, and if I were to eat 2 cups of this particular food, then I would have to multiply 2 cups 2 times the calories. So 2 times 45. So I'd be eating 90 calories of this food. So be very aware of what a serving size is, how many servings are in the entire item, and how many calories are in each serving. And then you have to multiply it or do the math accordingly to how much you eat. The next thing you're going to notice is that it will give daily values. So the percent of daily values are listed, giving you an idea of how 1 serving of the product contributes nutritionally to a 2,000 calorie diet. So if you look at the bottom there, the second arrow, it will say percent daily values based on a 2,000 calorie diet. You're going to need to read that bottom part of the label to see what they consider a daily amount of food is. So they consider it for this item, 2,000 calories is what one should eat in a day, a 2,000 calorie diet. So the percentage of, now when then you go back up to the top, the percentage of how much nutrients you're going to get are based on if you're eating a 2,000 calorie a day diet. So for example, if you follow down under total carbohydrate, there's dietary fiber. If you were eating 2,000 calories a day, then 1 serving of this item would give you 12% of your dietary fiber. If you're eating more calories a day, it's going to give you less percentage. If you're eating less calories, you're going to have more percentage of dietary fiber. So figure out what they're speaking to, how many calories a day diet they're speaking to when they're telling you what the percentage daily value is. And the reason we use this is to see if the food has a little or a lot of a nutrient. If you want to get all of your nutrients in a day, you're going to need to read the nutrition facts to figure out what nutrients are in each food to make sure you're getting 100% of your nutrients every day. Next, total fat, very important. Look at the total fat, and then you'll see right under it is saturated fat. The label lists the total fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, and sodium because basically people tend to eat too much of these. If you will see some items, look at a bag of potato chips and see how much sodium is in them. Sometimes it's 80% of your daily requirement of sodium in 1 serving of some of the high salt things like potato chips and things. I mean, you really need to be aware of how much of these things you're taking in. Right under that section that speaks to the fat, the cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrate, protein, you will find your vitamins listed. So vitamins A, C, calcium, and iron will be listed. People generally do not get enough of these vitamins or enough fiber in a day. So you should try again to find foods that give you 100% daily value for each of these vitamins. Now for this, for a can of carrots, notice the vitamin A in the can of carrots. You will get 360%. If you're eating 2,000 calories a day, you would have 360% of the vitamin A you needed in a day. So this is a tremendous source of vitamin A. So you want to look for foods that are going to provide you with all of the vitamins in a day and have that variety of foods so you have 100% of each thing you need in a day, 100% of the fiber, vitamins A, C, calcium, and iron. Not always, but in some cases, the total dietary requirements based on a 2,000 calorie a day diet, again, may be listed. And that's how you can determine how it fits into your dietary plan. So if you're eating 2,000 calories a day, then it's pretty straightforward. That's the percentages you need. But if you eat 2,500 calories a day, you can see how it's been modified on that, on the further right-hand side. So be aware of how many calories you're eating a day so you know what percentage of vitamins, fiber, proteins that you need in a day. Fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, total carbohydrates, fiber, sugar, protein, vitamin A and C, calcium, and iron are required on the label. So you should be able to find that on all the labels. Other nutrients may be listed if the company would like to list them. And your quote, "To eat is a necessity, but to eat intelligently is an art." We need to be intelligent and informed about what we're putting into our mouths and how we're fueling our body. This concludes our presentation on how to read a food label. If you have any questions on this presentation, please do not hesitate to contact the assigned facilitator.